Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Umama Razil, and today in this video, we will talk about sunscreen, which is a very important topic, and everyone these days is using that. And this is the demand of the era that people are using sunscreen. But apart from that, many of the people are here which don't know about the use and what will be the importance and the significance of a sunscreen. As sunscreen, we can say that it is kind of a sunblock or a sun cream, which is having the photo protective topical product for the skin and which mainly helpful to absorb the UV rays because the it helps to protect against sunburns and the most importantly, it is helpful to prevent skin cancer. When we are talking about sunscreen, sunscreen is coming in a various forms, like it comes as a lotion, sprays, gels, foams, and sticks, powders, and other topical products. Sunscreen are common supplements to clothing, particularly sunglasses, sun hats, and special sun protective clothing, and other form of photo protection such as umbrellas. So here also means sunlight which is reaching to the surface of the earth. It contains three kind of a rays. So those rays are visible rays, ultraviolet rays, and infrared rays. Out of these three rays, ultraviolet rays are having the particular wavelength which is 320 micromunes and are responsible for the most of the therapeutic as well as noxious effects that we attribute to sunlight. So this is like when we are talking about sunscreen, we should have the proper knowledge and what kind of a product you are buying from the market so that it will be more helpful. So this is SPF. SPF is said to be the sun protection factor. So when we are at home, and this is a common thing, like why we should use cream and why we should use sunscreen when we are at home. But it's not like that because when we are at home also, we need some kind of a skin protection cream and that will be available in a form of a sunscreen. But the only difference is that you are not going outside. So the UV rays which are coming directly on the surface of your skin are not in so much contact. But still you need a different kind of a SPF factors which are able to absorb the UV absorptions easily. So if you're choosing the SPF 2, if you are at a home or you are inside home, so at that time, it is just absorbing the 50% of the UV rays. When you are using the SPF contains 4, which will be visible on the sunscreen bottle of your sunscreen or a stick or any kind of a package you are having. So it contains 70. When you are using 8, 15, 30, and 50, then at that time the difference will be in a percentage that will coming as a 87.5, 93.3, 96.7, and 98 respectively. So from this flow chart, you are able to understand like if you are using the SPF 50 kind of a sunscreen, that will be more helpful to absorb UV rays when you are going outside. Still, if you are using 30, 96.7, so depending on the climatic conditions where you are living, you can use the SPF and that will be more helpful to understand that what my body is absorbing and what kind of a working procedure of a sunscreen is going to be happen. So when we are talking about all these things, so this is the sun protection factor, which I have already discussed. So it gives the consumer a guide for determining how the product will protect the skin from UV rays. When we are going in a market, so we are having, and there is a empty, means plenty of SPF contained sunscreens, but what kind of a sunscreen you are using? If you are planning to go outside in a daylight, then you have to use the sunscreen, which can be the maximum one, which will be the help of 50 SPF factor. So it can absorb nearly 98% of the UV visible rays. When you are at home, you can use from 2 to the range of a 30. That will be more effective in that way because when you are using sunscreen, we are having a different kind of benefits as well. It can help to prevent melanoma and squamous cell carcinoma, which are the two types of skin cancers. And means when you are means people are not having the proper knowledge that only by using sunscreen are they protecting skin cancer. But yes, they are protecting cancer in some of the ratio. So these are the basic things which we have to know when we are buying any kind of a sunscreen in the market. What will be the damage when you are not using sunscreen? So the damage will be when the UV spectrum is broken into three parts, which are very high energy: UVC, UVB, and UVA. So in that, when we are getting the radiation or absorption of that UV rays, which are in a very high radiation, it is currently blocked by the ozone layer, which is not feasible for the Earth now only. But high energy radiation means it does the more immediate damage. Immediate damage it is doing on your skin surface. But lower energy radiation can penetrate deeper into the skin and leading to the long-term damage. So these are the different kind of skin damages which are related to the sunscreen only. Only because of the minimal use of a sunscreen, you are able to avoid these kind of skin damages, which will be in a future cause high means lethal effects. So why you use sunscreen? Because these are the major factors, like too much unprotected sun exposure leads to premature skin aging, like wrinkles, because it's not a mandate or necessary that people are getting the wrinkles only in the older age. Some of the people are getting wrinkles and shrink in their skin surface because of not applying the sunscreen properly. Sunburn and skin cancer. Skin cancer these days is a very, very common diseases because of the unknowing facts, like how to care your skin and how to protect your skin from the sun rays. Because of the high pollution, we are getting different kind of diseases as well, which are affecting our skin in a various ways. So this is all about that. And when we are using a sunscreen, then there must be ideal sunscreen characters or characteristics. Like it will be resistance to water, and it will be stable to heat, light, and perspiration. It will be preferably odorless. If mild odor, it can accepted by the user. It will be non-toxic, non-irritant, and non-sensitizing. It is also helpful in capable of retaining sunscreening properties for several hours, and it can stable under conditions of use, non-stain, not be rapidly absorbed, and be neutral and be rapidly soluble in suitable vehicles. So sunscreen classification is also has been means divided. Like when we are talking about the physical classification termed like opaque formulation containing. The purpose of showing this screen is only that means this slide particularly, that whenever you are going to a market to buy a sunscreen and planning for a sunscreen, you can see all these material within your sunscreen bottle or the package, so that you can identify these kind of a chemicals should be involved in there and what will be the working procedure if we are having these things. So we are means like even though for the branded one also we can go for this. So like opaque formulation which contain titanium dioxide, talc, kaolin, zinc oxide, ferric chloride, and other things. When we are talking about sunscreen agents, which will be good, like it will be PEBA, para amino benzoic acid, which will be very effective in the UV absorber ranges, most effective in concentration of 5 to 70% ethanol. And maximum benefit is that when you are applying this kind of a sunscreen agent 60 minutes prior to exposure to ensure penetration and binding to the stratum corneum. So means like it's not when you are planning to go outside at the same time you are applying sunscreen on your skin, means before going anywhere, so you should apply sunscreen at least 60 minutes before or earlier. If you're not able to do that 60 minutes earlier, at least 30 minutes or 20 minutes, so that it can absorb to your on the surface of the skin and it will be ready to fight with your this UV rays. So if you are just applying your sunscreen and going outside, it will not be very much helpful, whether it will be SPF 50 or 60, depending on those conditions. Another agent which you are having, that is PABA esters, Padimate A, Padimate O, or glycerol PABA, which is also effective in absorbing the UV rays. Most effect is that like it is helpful to penetrate less effectively than the this previous para amino benzoic acid, and similar applications and adverse effect, and it will be less staining. So now these days, like when we are talking about sunscreen, so it is like not the new topic. It is the eternal topic. in cosmetics because it cannot exist without UV absorbers in cosmetic industries. So not only does it prevent the skin from being burned or scorching, but it is also non-toxic and harmless to the skin. UV absorbers by the name you will find out on your sunscreen bottles with good compatibility with other cosmetic raw materials. At the same time, it must be low volatility and strong stability. So UV rays, what will be the work of the UV rays, UV absorbers? Like UV absorbers have the function to absorb UV rays, whether it will be A or a B. And the skin absorb the chemical sunscreen molecules, and the process of this whole UV absorption occurs in the skin, which can be helpful to eliminate by metabolism of the human body. So there is no chemical reaction, but the electron transition in the molecule from low energy to the high energy level, and as well as energy will release in the form of heat, and it can absorb ultraviolet rays to prevent skin injury. So sunscreen is soluble in the oil phase also. So in that way, there are another applications of your sunscreen, whether you are applying SPF 30 or a 50 or above, must be used to effectively prevent your UV rays for damaging your skin cells. And this is the amount that is recommended to prevent skin against cancer. Sunscreen can also be applied thoroughly and reapplied during the day, especially after being in the water. So if you're washing your face and you are assuming that means because in the morning I have applied sunscreen, so again it will be there. So it's not like that. Any sunscreen which you are using that will work only for a 2 hours, and after that again when you are going in contact with water, so it means that you are going to reapply the sunscreen so that it will work more easily. And special attention should be paid to the areas like your ears, nose, which are common spots for the skin cancer. Because if you will see the people's faces, so in that, like nearby ear or your nose or in the means like the lower chin, you are getting that people are having different patches. So those patches are coming just because not using the proper sunscreen, and they are very much in contact with the sun rays. So that will be the things which like everybody should know, and everybody should understand that this is the time or this is the era where there is a need of using the sunscreens in a very well manner. So again, when we are talking about the omni-step UV absorbers, which are also available in the cosmetic industry and have several, this is considered as said to be the several special UV absorbers because of the different kind of a properties. It can be used in the oil-based and the water-based cosmetics. So these are the different names of that. And the dosage of the UV absorbers is also limited. It's not like that it is having the special absorbing quality. So we can include more than that. So generally the sunscreen cosmetics which are having the UV absorbers, because it might be possible that it is written on the package of your sunscreen. So it should be in between 0.1 to 10%, and too much can cause your allergic reactions to the skin, and the usage of UV absorber is mostly obtained through the actual sun test. So in addition, the dosage varies with the absorption of the energy of the compound and which cannot be generalized. So whenever you are buying a sunscreen, first the thing is that the patch test, which all have to do. Another thing is that means like this sunscreen, what will be the SPF factor for this particular one, which I'm planning to use it. So the third step will be that whether I'm planning to use it in a day or light going outside or will be at home. So these are the basic things which everybody should know when they are using sunscreen in an appropriate manner. And there is a must need of a sunscreen to use so that to avoid your skin from various kind of diseases, not only the skin cancer we are catching, but the shrinkage of the skin, wrinkles of the skin, patches, stains, burns, so many things we are getting because of that. And apart from that, so many different kind of allergies are also evolved with not using the proper sunscreen or proper moisturizer which is having SPF 30, 20, 12, 10, 50, etc. So I'm concluding this video for today. So if you like my video, so please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.